What's up, everybody? I'm your host, JP. This is my co-host, Josh.
Hey, everyone.
And welcome back to another episode of the FilmBros podcast. All right, guys. So, if y'all heard me in the last episode, I'm just look off rip. I'm gonna give it a book. I'm ready to tear into this dude's ass. Pause.
What do you mean by that? Hold up, man.
Pause.
No.
Hey. I meant it when I says it, all right?
That's
Here we go.
disgusting.
The Rock, okay? This is going to be our first topic. The Rock himself, okay? Now, I told you the other day that there was a rumor brewing between Twitter and different sources, Reddit and whatever. Wound up coming out saying that there was a reshoot done. They needed to add something or someone, and a lot of people were speculating who could it have been. Some people were thinking far out, saying that Evan Mendez was probably going to come back. There was a lot of speculation behind it, and I was like, I kid you not, I was like The Rock. I was like, The Rock probably is going to come back. I was like that he, and it's funny if you guys don't know the history, okay? The Rock is one person who has had beef with Vin Diesel, okay, on set. I believe in Fast 8, they literally said they did not make any, they were not in the same room together when they were acting at all. They were not in the vicinity of each other. Dwayne made some remarks saying that he was unprofessional and had a candy ass, something like that along those lines on Instagram.
Sneak dissing.
It's sneak dissing, all right. Vin Diesel, a lot of people don't believe him and the way he acts sometimes because he's this over, I don't even know how to say it, like, he loves too much, he's like, oh, he's my brother and whatever, and, I always thought it was a facade, but it might have been true, because when The Rock was on his high horse, getting Jumanji, DC was his oyster at the time, and he was asked to come back for another installment for Fast and the Furious. Oh, also having a little bit of beef with Tyrese Gibson as well. Tyree Gibson. He basically rejected that altogether. I think Vin Diesel even put down an Instagram post, a long thing saying my little brother Dwayne went into this giant rant. It's still on his Instagram if you guys are trying to go see it. Basically asking for Hobbs to come back, and The Rock basically laid it all to rest, I believe, on CNN, where he basically just said no. Like, I'm not coming back to that franchise.
Yeah.
Good luck with your endeavors. I'm never coming back as Hobbs. But now we are hearing a report saying that he is, in fact, in this new installment on Fast X, saying that he is not in the movie per se, but he could be making a cameo appearance in the cutscene, in the post-credit scenes, alluding to Hobbs coming back in part 2.
Yeah. Damn. Well, you want me to?
I want to hear what you have to say,
okay,
because
okay.
this is your guy. This is Black Adam right here.
Well, he's not my guy. I just enjoy Black Adam. You stop making it sound like he's like my shit. He's not my bread and butter. He's not. He does fine in one role that I can't even really enjoy because of him. I enjoy because of Dr. Fate and all them. So, man, interesting stuff. Because okay. Regarding all the beef, let's start there. Regarding all the beef way back when, if you guys were around to know anything about it, there was things going around saying that heads were clashing between, so and so. The Rock came out and was like, oh, I'm not going to name names, but he's very unprofessional and this and that. And then, they also beef with Tyree Gibson, and he was saying the similar things, probably talking about Vin Diesel at the time. Vin Diesel was more like, no, that's not true, this and that, denying it mostly, right? And then, and then the spinoff happens with Hobbs and Shaw. I can't remember if that did numbers.
It did. It was his best opening for him at the time, before Black Adam came out, and it underperformed on an opening for a regular Fast and the Furious movie, if that makes sense.
Okay, yeah.
So it didn't make the numbers as a regular Fast and the Furious movie, but in my opinion, it was expected. It was a spin-off, and nobody knew if Hobbs and The Rock and Statham were gonna merge together. I personally didn't have an issue with it, but it did moderate numbers. I guess in the middle. It didn't do too well, but it didn't do bad either.
Okay, well after that one kind of did average. I guess they didn't explore the option of a second one before he decided to move forward and try and tackle DC. He went out with Black Adam. He was saying he was done. I remember that. I remember very vividly that he was like, "No, I'm not coming back," because Vin Diesel did issue that apology, or he tried to issue an apology, and was just like, "It wouldn't be the same without you," and whatever, because he wants this big finale to be like involve everybody. It sounded like he was done, but now it sounds like he changed his tune. Why did he change his tune? I'm sure you'll get into that, but he changed his tune, and it sounds like he might be in it for a cameo.
Yes, and yes, I am going to totally say why he changed his tune. Okay, and look, I think he is kind of on my list, kind of like with Vin Diesel, with like personas that are fake, in my opinion. And though I do like some of his roles that he does, and I don't think that he's a terrible person. I like, him as a person seems cool, but he's one of those people to me where like he's going to claw and dig and do whatever he needs to do to get what he wants. One thing that he's been wanting for a long time is his own franchise. And you've seen it time and time again. He jumps into a franchise and he tries to take control of it, and it really cemented that for me when I seen him over there in DC for Black Adam. Hearing the report saying that he strongholded some of these people, jumped over executives and certain people he needed to speak to, and went straight to the boss. Like I get it, he did that for the fans and he fought hard, and it's great to do that, and it's nice every once in a while. You know what I mean? If Henry Cavill came out, right, just an example, you never hear from this dude. You never hear him try to take a takeover. He's just some guy who's trying to make it in Hollywood, right? And once in a while he goes, well, no, I fought for this and I made sure that we got this because I wanted this for the movie or whatever. Once in a while it's going to be like, yeah, that's fine. But if you hear Henry Cavill on set fighting with a director for something that he needs, on set fighting for something that he needs, you know what I mean? If it's something per franchise or per thing that's happening over and over again, it's kind of looked at like, well, Rock, what are you actually doing? Are you acting and listening to the direction, or are you trying to do things your way because you think that this is what's going to help it succeed? But like Chris Brown says in that one song, how can you hate from outside of the club if you can't even get in? My guy hasn't even had a franchise yet, and yet he's still like, and I get it, the desperation to want to have one is getting to him. He's been in this game for so long. Honestly, if he could probably have Jumanji as his franchise if he really wants it. He can have it. He can have it. That could be his franchise.
Sounds fucking terrible. Damn, yeah, because it would make sense, because even when, because he was doing those like standalone Disney movies way back when, if anyone can remember the game plan, things like that.
Yeah.
He's been in Hollywood for a while. You're right. And then, you showed me the G.I. Joe one. He kind of just showed up in the sequel, like nothing happened. And then, he shows up in Fast and Furious. I'm sure his ego does get in the way of him having some of the things he wants. You know what I mean? Because he doesn't want to start from the ground up. He kind of pops in and he's like, I'm going to take over now. And then the other people are like, what the fuck? No, you kind of...
Yeah, that's exactly what the fuck he does, bro. He like sees a franchise is taking off. He's like, let me get a bite of that. He's like, let me taste that real quick.
Because it was fine seeing him in Fast 5. That's when he first shows up. And he was badass. I really liked Hobbs in that one. And then he started being more prominent and stuff. And then he wasn't in 9, right? He wasn't in 9.
Mm.
And then, that's because of the beef. But I imagine it's his ego and his side. I don't think it was Vin at all, honestly. I think it was him and his contract, his bullshit contract where he can't lose a fight and whatever else in any movie he's in, to the point where like it affects and he thinks he's the shit. But no, that's not how that works. He's not willing to be the side character. He wants front and center, which he got in Hobbs and Shaw. And I'm sure if that did fine, he would have made a fucking franchise out of that, because we have not heard shit out of what the fuck Idris Elba's character and his fucking super suit came from or whatever. We haven't heard anything out of that from since then. But I imagine it's him in his own way.
Yeah, and is Statham gonna explain what they were doing? Like, they didn't even explain. Well, he wasn't in 9, huh? Statham, was he?
Yeah, he was.
Yeah, he was, huh?
Mm-hmm.
Was Hobbs and Shaw before or after 9?
It came after 8, I think.
Did he even was he ever like, oh, we were fighting this mechanical dude?
I don't think so.
Who almost he never did, huh?
No.
So we're just gonna totally just disregard his side adventure.
It was like a side character.
You know how
thing.
dope that would be around the picnic table at the end of the movie, like with a Corona in his hand, like, hey, yo, we're on the edge of a cliff, and the Rock himself literally grabbed a helicopter and brought it down. Like, that was crazy.
Because like he has badass moments as Hobbs, I think. Like when he breaks out of his cast and he's like, I gotta go to work. He's like, and you're like, no, damn, that's fucking cool. But like have outside beef affect the franchise you're in because you kind of want to be front and center is kind of fucking stupid. Build your own then.
I'm just saying that jump from that building that exploded, I think it was Fury 7, where he grabbed that girl and like fell on the car. He should have died there.
Not just a broken arm.
Wholeheartedly, he should have died there.
Yeah.
That should have been the end of him. But he was probably like, no.
In 8, he's like, I jumped because you brought a grenade or whatever.
My boy was able to push a whole rocket a different direction. Look, man, I don't even care what anybody says. Look, The Rock is a good actor. I like him in some of the stuff that he does. I do feel like he's a one-show pony every so often. But yeah, this whole trying to strong arm his way into a franchise every single time. And I always thought, like I said, I thought Vin Diesel was over here faking it and trying to play Mr. Saint and Innocent just so he can, milk Paul Walker's death and stuff like that. Because to be honest, I never see posts like that without an intention behind it. And maybe that's a little part of intent right there, but it's not the whole frame. I honestly think he is a genuine dude. And I think now that like, when The Rock was trying to rise past him, Vin Diesel was basically like, no, understand. You're here, we're family, but this is my shit. You know what I mean? And yeah, I think he just wasn't vibing with that. And
cause
now that he's backtracking, it just makes it even worse, in my opinion.
Yeah, because you're not going to, because I'm sure it's all love, inside the fucking film, like, yeah, no, I'm sure he does think about them, value them as family members and whatnot. I have no doubt about that. But it's also his franchise. It's his business. Like, he was in the first one with Paul. It was probably them two that was running shit up until Paul's death. May he rest in peace. It's just The Rock wants. I feel like The Rock would want to kind of ruin that and make it into something that Vin Diesel doesn't want, especially now since he does prioritize it over like the death of loved ones and whatnot. He's like, this is for them and stuff. Like, he doesn't want that ruined. Whether you think it's ruined now, that's completely up to you. But to Vin Diesel, he thinks he's doing a fine job, so I'm not gonna touch that.
I would have said ended at 7, but
yeah. But Vin thinks he's doing great. I can't wait to see Fast X. If he comes back, cool. I'm fine with that. I don't really mind it. If he was able to put his shit away for a cameo and hopefully a potential return in part 2, then awesome. But
that shows growth. But at the same time, it also shows like, oh, I couldn't do it at DC, so I'm tucking my tail and coming back. You know what I mean? And I don't know. Depending on what side of the aisle, I mean, that could look good or bad. That's just, I guess that's up to personal opinion at that point. But me personally, my personal opinion, I say, don't let him back in. I wouldn't have. But, Vin Diesel's probably like, oh, yeah, no, of course. What spat? You know what I mean? What a no, I'm just kidding. I'm joking. Moving on though, one thing that you're probably not gonna like is that Superman and Lois might be canceled on the CW. Um, last year the head of CW basically said that he was and this was way before we had the podcast, so we never even spoke about this. But the CW boss, when CW got bought out by Nestar, which is a company of Warner Brothers, that the DC shows were going to slowly start dwindling, and that's what we saw, with Titans ending, all those CW shows basically ending.
Before it affected Titans, it was Legends, Arrow, shit like that.
Yeah, all that stuff, and it started dwindling down to the point where now we're just with the Flash and Superman and Lois. Now it's been up in the air whether or not it was going to be canceled, and that season 4 wasn't going to happen, but apparently CW still wants to keep one show. So the boss says he wants to keep one show, which a lot of people are speculating is Superman and Lois, but a lot of people are also saying up within the ranks that Superman and Lois might move on to Max itself. If the CW winds up canceling the show, that Max is willing to pick it up and renew it for a 4th season.
I'd be down for that. I know there was rumors when they were canceling Titans and all that if Superman and Lois was gonna get the axe too.
Yeah.
But by then they were well into season 3. You know what I mean? Just like just right before season 4 of Titans finished, that's when Superman and Lois was basically on production.
Okay.
So Titans was kind of near the tail end of that. So when they got the axe, it was basically like, all right, we pumped out our 4th season anyway. We're done. I think Stargirl might still be going on. I'm not too sure. I don't know if that one's canceled. Don't quote me on that.
No, that one's canceled.
Yeah. We'll see. They were done with like their 2nd or 3rd season by then too.
Mm-hmm.
And then before all
she
that,
made an appearance in Titans as well.
Yeah. See, she was in Titans. I think she did a crossover with the Flash in this last season of theirs too. So, everyone's getting to say their goodbye rounds. With Superman and Lois, there is a fan base out there. I'm not gonna lie. Like, I'm one of them. I enjoy the show for what it is most of the time. I haven't seen season 4 yet or season 3, but I hear they have a really big like epic fight scene that people swear is like top notch shit. I haven't seen it.
I think I seen the clip.
Well, yeah, there you go. But I haven't seen it. So I hear it's good shit. But if Max picks it up, great. I'm sure they could benefit from a big ass budget.
Yeah, if they're able to do a big budget of that show, I think I'd be more interested in it. Cause I'm not gonna lie, the story sounds fascinating. Everything seemed pretty good. It was just the CGI that was very like.
It throws you out of it.
Yeah, man.
And like even as much praise as I give to it, it does throw you out of it. Like it has its moments where you're just like, what the fuck? But it could benefit from that. I hear that the one show that, or maybe it is canceled already, I'm not too sure, I haven't seen it, but Gotham Knights, like I hear that's the one they're also throwing in the ring for a 2nd season or whatever, but I think that one might have caught the chopping block a long time ago.
No, that one's actually still doing good and actually doing numbers that people are actually saying it's actually decent.
Yeah, no.
Which
that.
Is crazy because everybody was shitting on it.
Shit, yeah.
I don't know about that one.
If Superman and Lois does get the axe, I hope Max easily just swoops in and is like, all right, we'll take it then.
It's funny. I forgot about Gotham Knights, but thinking about it now, maybe Superman and Lois might go to Max because, I mean, if Warner Brothers is the parent company of Nestar, they can easily just swoop it up and be like, hey, you know what? This is a great show. It just needs an upgrade. You know what I mean?
Exactly. And James Gunn can just fit that under the Elseworlds umbrella. Yeah. Whatever.
That'd be good. I think it would do Tyler Hoechlin some justice too because I hear that he's a good Superman. I just hear that CGI kind of holds him down. I'm not the only one that shares the opinion.
Like the Lois in that one, Tyler Hoechlin, even the teenage boys. You know how we're just shitting on.
Yeah, they're not whiny or anything.
Yeah,
well,
no.
I haven't seen the new one that replaced them. Because I only know the
season 3.
Yeah, I only know the 2 from season 1 and 2, but I don't know how his dynamic blends in with season 3.
Yeah, I haven't heard much on their part, but in the first 2 seasons, they go kind of they do well. Everyone kind of does their own thing. I even like Henry Irons as Steel in that. So it all kind of works out. Hopefully, if it does get axed, it continues on Max, or if it does get axed in general, that's gonna suck.
Yeah, well, I mean, if you want it to survive, you should probably watch season 3, but we'll have to wait and see on that one. Me personally, I'm not really a big fan of CW shows. I know that you like Superman and Lois, so I just wanted to make sure that you knew that it could potentially be dying. So
yeah, that's understandable.
CW got to get rid of stuff, but now we're gonna hit that little business side right now because it sounds like Disney is going through it as well. So the other day, Bob Iger himself had a little business call. Now, he did say quite a bit of things, but there was quite a few stuff that I'm assuming he's saving for another business call that's going to be happening in the next couple of weeks, which we'll be here to report on. But for right now, one thing's for sure that is really bad is that now we're on a record decline, says the Forbes. Disney Plus losing another 4 million subscribers. Another 4 million subscribers in quarter 4. That comes from 2022 losing 2.4 million subscribers. I remember we reported on that in an earlier episode as well. And it's understandable, in my opinion. Disney needs to understand that though streaming services, yeah, they're probably right. They're not as profitable as box office. That's fine. Mm-hmm. But you could still make a profit. And I would have assumed Disney would have seen, how Netflix has been doing it and Hulu has been doing it, and would have been like, we need more originals. Mm-hmm. We need content that, is going to be for all ages. Mm-hmm. You know what I mean? Disney Plus just being a babysitting app is not enough. Yeah, no. And I'll tell you that right now. Disney Plus is a babysitting app. I use it to babysit. It's literally, it has all the movies, all the cartoon movies. It has everything. Disney Plus, it just has a slew of old movies that you can easily get on physical and just be done with it. And then if you want to watch Mando, WandaVision, whatever, you literally buy it for a month. Once all the episodes are out, you watch them all and you're free. You know what I mean? You don't necessarily, there's no incentive to keep paying. Especially if you don't have children. If you don't have children, there's really a bigger incentive to just be like, no, I'm good. I'll just wait. You know what I mean?
Honestly, yeah, because as often as I want to say I use it, I don't use it that often.
What do you use it for? Mandalorian?
I use it for Star Wars stuff, and then if I decide at some point, hey, I want to watch old Spider-Man cartoons, that's about it. Or I'll say right now, I use it for like ambient noise because I don't know if you know this, but they got like just like white noise like you can use to like sleep with. You know what I mean?
Can't you just do that on YouTube?
I can, but they have a Star Wars one, which sounds pretty cool. Like the Force music and shit like that. It's calming. It helps me sleep sometimes.
You got to show me that later. Yeah, I didn't know about that.
I use that one, and
I may or may not.
I use that one. Dude, they have a Sith one where it's just like boom, 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 like with like the fucking like heavy shit, and you're like, what the fuck? I can't sleep to this. It's all dark as shit.
Right.
And then I use there's this Finding Dory one. If you guys are into that shit, or Finding Nemo one, if you guys are into that whole like you need noise to sleep, these are very calming shit. Like I have no lie. Like that Finding Nemo one, it's just like fish and water, and you just hear it, and like that shit sounds calming. I use it for that when I can't sleep sometimes.
That's interesting. I never knew about that.
Oh yeah. Well, I'll show it to you, but I don't use it as often as I should because I'm not really intaking Disney movies and all that. I watch it for Star Wars when shows drop like 3 times a year, but that's about it.
There you go. And that's basically me too. I hardly go on Disney, but I think you'll find me on HBO Max. You'll find me on Hulu, YouTube, obviously, but not like Disney Plus it's a rare thing unless I'm watching Star Wars or something. You know what I mean? Yeah. And I haven't even found myself revisiting any of like the Marvel TV shows. You know what I mean? I have not revisited not one of them since they dropped.
I don't go back and rewatch those shows. If anything, I go back and watch just like
the
Spider-Man
highlights.
Stuff.
Oh, Spider-Man stuff.
Because they have Spectacular Spider-Man on there.
All the Spider-Man movies are on Disney Plus right now too.
Yeah, so like I watched all of them when they dropped them, and I haven't gone back. But Like I'd feel like I'd catch myself like if I decided to be like, hey, I want to watch Spider-Man, where can I go to watch like anything of his catalog? I'd go there, but that's rare in itself too.
Exactly.
And Disney Plus isn't. It's not made for adults who are paying for it, and with the decline of children wanting to be had, there's not much incentive for Disney Plus to keep going on with adults either.
The only way that they can make any kind of noise is if they added some kind of adult content. So, like, one thing that did hurt them as well was a price hike that happened. A few months ago, we had a price hike that went from $7.99 for the lowest tier to basically what you're paying. What you were paying before, you're paying a little, like $1 more. Right now it's like $10.99 for the medium one. I think it's like $8.99 for the low one, but you get ads or whatever. And I think it's like $16 for the highest one. It's basically like HBO Max numbers, and it's like you're not really giving us content to want to continue to do that. But now we're also hearing that they're going to be hiking it up once again, another price hike within Disney Plus. But are these price hikes justified? No, not in my opinion. But from what Iger said in his earnings call, is saying that Hulu and Disney Plus will be merging by the end of this year. That I believe Disney Plus will have Disney, but then a little hub for Hulu on the side. However they're gonna do it. I know overseas right now they have Hotstar. I believe Disney Plus has connected with Hotstar because they don't have Hulu. They're able to, whatever's on Hulu, all the mature content is on Hotstar. Basically, that's kind of like their workaround.
Yeah.
So Disney Plus over there already has that together. Me personally, when Disney came out, I thought that they were gonna do that regardless. But then when they wound up bundling, I was like, okay. Makes sense in a way. They don't want to mix their brand with a bunch of mature content from Hulu and stuff like that. Yeah. But now it sounds like having two apps isn't lucrative enough. You know what I mean? A lot of people were thinking that Disney was going to sell Hulu. I was like, why would you do that? That'd be stupid.
We covered that way back when. You guys go check out those episodes. But when we covered that, our thought process was that they were just going to move their Fox and Disney Marvel content, like the Runaways and shit, onto Disney Plus, and then sell the rest of Hulu. But it seems now they kind of backtracked and was like, no, we can use Hulu to still hold our mature content stuff. Because if you start mixing it in with the kids stuff, adults would have a hard time finding that shit than if you just had a hub to be like, Here's what
here's
you're
Hulu.
For. Here's Atlanta and whatever the fuck else you're watching.
Yeah, and instead of supporting two apps, we can do one. And maybe that's where the price increase is going to happen. You know what I mean? Where it's going to be basically like where you're getting content for two into one.
Yeah.
But my thing is that should be content of one. You know what I mean? Because Hulu is basically the mature side that Disney's been needing. You know what I mean? Like, you get the bear over there. You get all kinds of stuff over there that is really good that you wouldn't see on Disney.
Yes.
And yet you're still going to put up the price. I mean, I guess having originals there from Hulu is probably going to sustain that a little bit better. But the thought process is good now, but hearing that they could have done this a long time ago and saved money, but now that they're hemorrhaging money from holding two apps is kind of like, no. I'm not going to say too little too late because, hey, I'm still going to probably use it. It's just more, damn, son, we could have been saving money.
I just think at this time, he's still worrying about cutting back and shit. So he's just like, selling would have been fine. But I think at this point, he's just like, nah. We can use this better. And yeah, better than using two apps, paying for programming and whatnot. We can make one app, just give it a hub. Which it should have been done from the jump, I think. But yeah.
And during this process, they're going to be axing quite a bit of shows. They're going to be taking some off the catalog.
Fucking God.
Some might not make it past the jump from Hulu to Disney Plus unscathed. So it's going to be a very rocky road for Disney. They're going to start looking at shows that they can cut, things that can be moved, stuff that's probably not performing well on Disney Plus. They can remove it. So, all those great things that are going to be happening with these changes.
Disney Plus doesn't really have that many good shows or original shows.
They don't really have much.
Like that High School Musical one. No. I think that John Stamos one got canceled a long time ago.
Dude, the only thing that's been keeping Disney Plus afloat is Star Wars and Marvel shit. That's the only thing that's been keeping it afloat this whole time.
Marvel kind of dwindling at the stars right now.
Yeah,
that shit ain't gonna work.
It being a babysitting app, though. Yeah, I use it, but if they stopped producing Star Wars and Marvel shows, I'd be like, what's the point of this? I have all the movies on physical copy. You know what I mean? I don't need to, to play this over and over and give them streams. Now that it's getting to the point where, like, Star Wars isn't being that good, Marvel for them isn't being that good, a lot of people are turned off by the fact that, the shows aren't being, made well. And on top of that, people aren't really happy with Disney as it is right now.
Yeah, Disney's kind of in hot water. I think a couple weeks ago maybe when the strike first happened, Disney was the first one to be like, "Nah, we're still pushing forward." No big things from Disney as the right moment because they are still in the hot seat. It's just this. I don't know what to make of this other than that he's trying to conserve money again by combining both of them. And if that works out, cool, because then that gives people incentive to want to use your platform that should have been made before. Because I still feel like I use Hulu, Netflix, and HBO Max more than I use Disney Plus.
Right. That's literally just how
the end
it is.
of it.
Yeah.
Like, what are you using more to watch shit? If Hulu didn't have The Bear, or anime on it, I probably wouldn't be using Hulu either.
No, dude, you're sleeping. Hulu got some good ass originals.
I can imagine they do. Other than The Bear that I've watched, or the one you put me on. Damn, what's that
This
show?
Fool?
This Fool, yeah. Like it's very rare when I stumble upon shows in that. I forgot how I stumbled upon The Bear, but I'm glad I did. If you guys haven't seen The Bear,
I swear, as soon as you told me about it, I was just like, because this boy, he watches like cooking shows. And so, like, when he told me about The Bear, and it was just another, like, drama with cooking, I was just like, what's up with you and cooking shows? Like, why it's always just cooking with you or something.
It works out. It's a really good show. And, like, if you guys haven't seen it, I recommend it fully. I think season 2 comes out next month, if not mistaken.
June 25th.
Yeah. See, so I'm getting ready for that. That's my bread and butter at the moment. But still going to be using Hulu more than Disney Plus at the end of the day.
Yeah. Yeah, so a good move on them to want to merge it together. Kind of bad move to want to be cutting some content because who knows if maybe the content that they cut was drawing in people to Hulu. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And just because you slap Disney Plus in front of Hulu doesn't mean that people are gonna want to be buying it. Yeah, it might even deter some people. They might honestly, just be like, "Do I need it?"
No, that wouldn't work either. I guess depending on who you ask, it's just they need to look more at what they're producing as Disney and not at what they're producing as Marvel and Star Wars. If that makes sense.
No, I get that. Yeah.
I think their Disney stuff is hurting a lot of their own brand because it's too. Yes, it is kid friendly, but you don't have kids paying for the app.
Yeah, it was really fucked up when at one point when they were using like Pixar as like Disney Plus originals for like animation and stuff, and only putting Disney movies in theaters.
Yeah,
I thought that was pretty.
That's fucked up.
That was pretty fucked. But they're still going at it. Things are still being shuffled and moved. But one unprecedented move that happened from Bob Iger with the same earnings call that happened, he congratulated Universal for their success with the Super Mario movie. He says, "Allow me to digress for a moment to congratulate Universal for the tremendous success of Super Mario Bros. It certainly proves people love to be entertained in theaters around the world, and gives us a reason to be optimistic about the movie business.
I swear to God, if he thinks he can pull that shit under his umbrella, good luck.
That's not what he's looking for. Oh, well, you know what? I never thought about that. Go on with your theory.
Well, yeah, because the only time Disney attempted a video game movie, even though it wasn't a video game movie, would be Wreck-It Ralph and Tron, right? Because Tron's a video game, is it not?
Yeah.
Yeah. See, so that's twice. Wreck-It Ralph got a sequel. I don't think it's better than the first one, but they did use hella IPs in that one.
Maybe that's why. Yeah, maybe that's why it was like good. I honestly love the first one though.
I love the first one. I think the first one does really well, and then the second one the plot is to me is and then it didn't help that while I was watching it, every once in a while I'd be like, that's a fucking Star Wars character. This isn't that
I thought that was the fun part.
Well, it was kind of cool at the moment, but after a while you're like, damn, they really threw this in our face to distract us from this weak ass plot.
I think one thing that Disney tends to do in a lot of their movies is throw IP in there, and I think it hurts the movie quite a bit.
Because I mean they own it and they want to be able to flaunt it. It isn't a normal product placement like when someone shoves fucking Skittles in your face, like a certain movie. But I digress.
I knew it. Fucking knew it. Anyways, keep going.
I digress. It's just what was I saying? So there's Wreck-It Ralph and there's Tron. Tron is barely in the making of getting a third movie, if not mistaken.
Yeah, third.
So I think he's trying to. I think that is a subtle thing to be like, you all made it work. I'm gonna try and take that formula for myself, and pump out new Disney IP with it.
Well,
and maybe work with game companies to make whatever movies Disney wants.
I'm gonna buy a PlayStation. Yeah, that's a good theory. It could be a nice play to be like, hey, Nintendo, let me holler at you for a second. You know what I mean? My theory is that he's gonna basically what you said, instead of completely buying the Nintendo brand, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Being a fucking ironmonger and just being like, hey, let me just get everything. That he was gonna try to do what they did, you know what I mean? And I think one thing that a lot of people saw within the Super Mario Bros. Movie was that it wasn't so political. It wasn't you need to check boxes. It wasn't, you need to do this or do that. It was just more, it's about a game that you love. Even I was worried, okay, that Super Mario Bros. Was going to play down that whole Bowser wanting Peach thing, because, Bowser basically kidnaps her to marry him. You know what I mean? That's like his thing. And that could be looked at as a no-no in these times. We always say when we're watching old movies, this movie would never be made in today's climate. Yeah, because of certain things. It just wouldn't fly. And a lot of people say Disney is the one that plays it safe because they don't do those things. They rather play that political game and check boxes for the wider audience, instead of just being like, we can make a good movie and get a good niche following, you know what I mean? A good group of people that like it, instead of trying to be this person that gets everybody excited to come in. What works for this movie isn't always going to work for this people, you know what I mean? But you could make a movie for this people that won't work for this people, you know what I mean? And you'll please everybody, instead of trying to make one product that fits all, if that makes sense. And I feel like Disney is gonna, that's what my theory was. It wasn't really like, buy more brand. I was thinking more like they were just gonna try to copy and paste that formula and try to go back to those times where it was just, let's make a movie.
Well, maybe that could totally be it, but I think there's very subliminal things with that. Like what you said. Sure, they could totally take it back to the formula and be like, let's stop all this political bullshit, let's just make another Disney banger, and move on. But I think they're gonna try and grab some of their IP and be like, we can make a game movie like they did too, because they are kind of out of ideas right now with recycling sequels and whatnot. Unnecessary sequels, I might add. Who the fuck asked for Frozen 3? No, like.
To be fair, Frozen 2 is the highest grossing animated movie made I think it's top 10 as well and highest grossing movies overall. So, I mean, to be fair, it did do numbers. So some people might be clamoring for Frozen 3.
Those damn Disney adults, let me tell you.
Just, they just never grow up.
I suppose
they want to spend $25 on a churro at
they
Disneyland.
want to spend. Yeah, fuck. They're the ones They're the ones sticking around with Disney Plus. Oh man, but I suppose this could be a good thing if you guys did see the Super Mario movie. I still haven't seen it, but yeah, if you're excited for that and what that future may bring, shit, good luck.
Oh man, we're gonna have to wait and see because Disney's making moves, and another move that they are making is going to go ahead and make a Freaky Friday sequel with Jamie Lee Curtis and Lindsay Lohan potentially coming back. Now, Lindsay Lohan is coming back to acting would be a huge deal. And this is a movie that I honestly think would make so much money if done right, and if they bring back Lindsay Lohan, because I remember Lindsay Lohan to be like every little girl's like favorite actress. Like everybody loved Lindsay Lohan, even when she came out in that god awful Herbie movie. Like everybody loved her regardless then too. Parent Swap, like I think if this movie is to actually, because Jamie Lee Curtis, I think it's funny the time that they picked to ask her, but it was on the Halloween Ends red carpet, and we talked about it a little bit, where she was like, it could happen. I just can't say anything. But now that
was it the Hollywood Ends? I thought she won an award, and that's when they asked her.
No, it was during Hollywood Ends, okay. The premiere. But she wound up giving a little tidbit. Now we're hearing a few months down the line that it's actually in the works. Is going to happen. I mean, are you excited for a sequel for this one?
See, you guys, before I get into it, like, we cover the news. We cover it, and then it happens. I'm just saying. You got to start listening more, because we cover the news, and then months later, you'll be like, hey, we called it. We want to be in the moment with us. But
yeah, we want hell yeah. I like being like,
yeah,
that was me.
So, like, we did talk about this. I remember us talking about it. Jamie Lee Curtis did say that, and then she kind of ran away and was like, we got to keep moving. To see this comeback would be interesting. I don't know, because Jamie Lee Curtis was the mom, and then the daughter, well, Lindsay Lohan was her daughter, and then whatever. So if they do a new generation, again, it would be cool to see them. It just has to depend on who are the children, who are the snotty teenagers this time around.
Jamie Lee Curtis is gonna be the old man who's losing his mind this time, and it's gonna be Lindsay Lohan swapping bodies with the daughter, whoever they could be. Like we said, I think we said in the last episode, they gotta just find good kids that can play this role, or a good teenager,
realistic teenagers these days, because like I really believe, like,
the girl from Quantumanium.
I wanna die. This isn't gonna work.
I think she does good, because she even played in the parody movie, the Freaky movie with Matthew Vaughn. She played the daughter that or the little girl that swapped bodies with the serial killer, and she did a phenomenal job. I think she would do good in this one. I mean, Freaky Friday is not really like an edgy movie, I don't think. I always felt like it was funny for the time, because they poked fun at like stereotypes and everything, which that's a movie that I would say too, like, wouldn't have survived if they made it today. But there is some stereotypes in that movie that kind of push the envelope. So I don't know how a sequel will be able to fare in this economy.
Maybe, but I still think
social climate. It was a joke when I said economy, but social climate. So you guys don't think that I'm a dumbass.
but yeah, I mean, does this do anything for you? Like, I don't even know how to feel. It'd be exciting to see, just to see them on screen together again after so many years. But I don't know if I'd say I'm looking forward to it.
I'm not more like excited for the movie. I think for Lindsay Lohan, I am. I'll be honest. I honestly think that she was a hot ticket back in the day. I think a lot of people
What
kept
happened to
an
her?
eye on her. She had a breakdown. I think a lot of
Well,
people.
Oh.
I think a lot of people, kind of kept an eye on her, and she kind of went down her own path. A lot of Disney kids have mental breakdowns. I just think it's probably what they do to them. But she had kind of like a little breakdown. Wound up going on a hiatus. Wound up becoming a mom. Just lived her own life. Never thought about coming back to Hollywood. I don't think anything really attracted her to come back. But now with sequels and reboots and all those helpings coming back and becoming a thing, I think a lot more actors are getting in their head like, this is my comeback. You know what I mean? Because before, you had to make a comeback in a different movie, and hopefully a director took a chance on you and you were able to win over the hearts in a different movie. Nowadays, you get a chance at redemption with a sequel of a movie that happened so many years ago that didn't do amazingly well, but had a little niche cult following because, as kids, you love those movies, you know what I mean? And then as you grow up, you still love them, but you don't know how you'll feel when they bring them back.
Yeah, I guess that's fair. That's all. That is very fair. Good way to put it, actually. I can't really add on to that. That was well said. Good job.
Thank you. I'm not a dumbass.
Well, but yeah, no. I mean, I don't know if this is exciting enough to be like, yeah, I want it. But when it comes out, hopefully it does get a full movie release and not a straight to Disney Plus thing, because that would chop it at the legs immediately.
Yeah, no, of course. I think anything that is straight to streaming, it's already hard to get anybody to want to go straight to streaming. You have to have like a really like big name, because I know there's a lot of times where I'm like, I'm gonna watch this movie and it comes out on streaming and I'm just like, oh, I forgot all about it, and then I'll put it on my wish list and I'll probably come back to it on a day where I'm actually feeling it, and then boom, you know what I mean? I finally get around to it. But I think unless it's like a big top bill, name, then that's when people are like, yeah, I think Glass Onion did numbers because everybody knew what Knives Out was because it was in the box office before, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
So it just, it would be complete suicide to just put them on a streaming service, especially Disney Plus in the climate that it's in.
After what we just talked about, Disney Plus is kind of on a very tightrope. So
it's on a 30-day notice. God damn it! Either get your shit together or get the fuck out.
Basically,
that's basically what's gonna happen. I ain't afraid to cancel my membership. You know what's funny? I heard people were getting like, oh, my voice cracked. Sorry guys. I heard people were getting like boxes from Disney Plus for like day one subscribers. My man, I had Disney Plus on day one. I never got a box. Disney,
damn.
Personal vendetta right here. I'm mad.
For sure.
I never got that box. Day one, bro. I swear. I waited in line. I called because it was down. It was broken. The servers couldn't handle it. Whatever, Disney. Whatever. Freaky Friday 2? Throw it in the trash. I don't even care anymore.
Damn.
Anyways, moving on, though. Another very bad word that we're hearing is that the new Exorcist movie, Believer, has bombed at the New York test screening. That happened on May 9th, I believe, or May 10th. Now, if you guys don't know about this movie, we kind of talked about it a little bit. We didn't have a lot, and it's kind of been low-key ever since the cast was announced. I know the original girl from the original Exorcist is coming back. I know the original priest was supposed to come back. I think the mom was making a return as well. We're getting... this is supposed to be... Even though we had a whole bunch of Exorcist movies, this is supposed to be the legacy movie for The Exorcist. You know what I'm saying? The legacy sequel or whatever you may say. And a lot of people are saying that it's too long and not scary. And that, for an Exorcist movie, is just a death sentence. Because a lot of people, when we hear about test screenings too, I'm like on it with social media. I'm on Reddit, Twitter. I'm on all that shit. When I heard about, Guardians, all these big movies, Cocaine Bear too, like when I heard, like, you hear floods of everything. This is the movie test screenings were kind of just like silent on, and a lot of insiders are just saying like it's not doing too well. So
yeah, That's bad. I can't even. That's as straightforward as it can get. Because the first one, fun fact about me. No, I don't watch this movie. Not because I find it not scary. Quite the opposite. This movie scares me shitless. I cannot. Like, I watched it once way back when, and just like The Barbarian, it has scarred me for life. I don't watch this movie. I can't even tell you the... I think I watched the theatrical cut. I think the R-rated cut gets worse, right? See, so I can't even tell you what happens in the R-rated one because I refuse to watch it.
Yeah, I never liked Exorcist movies. I always find them creepy and skin crawling as well. I love horror movies though, so I think the first one is... I always had a problem with it, like you, but me being a horror fanatic, I think the one that really gets me now is the Emily Rose one that they had put it out not too long ago. That one's really scary for me. So like The Exorcist has had longevity, all right? And I mean, there's only so many ways you could slice the pie, I guess you could say, when it comes to Exorcist movies. So them having to come back to this, and legacy sequels tend to try to, how you said before, we're going to give you different shit, but not too different, you know what I mean? And I'm sure that's what this movie's suffering. I'm sure it has a lot of repeat offendery in there. I'm pretty sure that there's a lot of exposition where it probably is not necessary, because if you're going to go watch this movie, you should already have an idea what the old one's about, you know what I mean? And, well, scares...
You need scares.
Yeah, you need scares in an Exorcist movie.
You need scares.
If they saying it's not frightening, bro, I went to go watch what's that one movie? The Poltergeist. Have you ever seen that remake?
No.
You seen the old one?
I've seen the old one.
You remember the old one?
Yeah.
They made a remake. And that shit,
it.
don't even worry about that
I've
movie.
never seen it.
If you want to watch a comedy, go watch that movie. That shit was not scary at all. I sat through that shit and I laughed multiple times, and it wasn't even to be like, ha ha ha, this movie shit. It was just more like actually, like, what the fuck, just add Kevin Hart in here one time. It just might as well. And so hearing this sounds like it might be that.
There's been a ton of Exorcist movies. If this one's supposed to be the follow-up to the very first one, that should automatically like put people in the seats. But to want to make it long and not scary, you're fucking not just chopping off your legs, you're chopping off your head too. Like, you can't survive. Especially with horror making a comeback, this movie would thrive.
And the crazy part is that, well, maybe not too crazy. Maybe we could have predicted this too, especially after what happened with like Halloween Ends. But David Gordon Green is gonna be is making this movie, and I don't know. I guess the way if whoever liked Halloween Ends, honestly, I wasn't a fan. I think they started off strong with Halloween.
I'm more like 50-50.
Halloween Kills, I kind of feel like though they didn't make it better, I don't feel like it went completely worse either. And with Halloween Ends, I was just more like, I'm over it. It should have went a different way. So hearing that this is his follow-up to that, I mean, I guess it fits into the right slot. I was just hoping. I guess I was being optimistic, seeing the half glass full and being like, well, he did a phenomenal job with the first one. You know what I mean? I honestly believe the first Halloween that he made back in 2018 was great. But I think the other two just kind of dwindled in what's it called? It just dwindled.
I've been looking for a new or a more spiritual, quote unquote, horror movie lately. And
Barbarian 2.
If this one is already setting out the numbers and people are just disliking it already, then you lost my interest, because I eat that shit up. I don't really do it with killers because that's more tangible, but if you can scare the fuck out of me with a ghost, well, there you go.
Damn, G.
That'll do it. I mean, that shit does it. I don't know what to tell you, because the other Exorcist movies, they get me too.
Yeah.
But the OG, I can't.
I think that's crazy. You're more scared of ghosts and shit, and you can't believe the serial killer stuff, but I can believe more the serial killer shit, and I'm not really too afraid of fucking ghosts.
Yeah, no. I don't know what it is.
Yeah, that's funny. That's different. But yeah, so I mean, reshoots might be ordered on the way after hearing this, so the final product is not the final product. I think we have until the end of this year before it comes out. So they could do reshoots. They could throw in some scares. They might be able to, adjust a couple things. So, not the final product. We'll have to wait and see what the final product looks like. I'm just saying this isn't helping either. And then the lack of word of mouth is very concerning as well.
Yeah. Fuck.
Not very good.
God damn it.
Yeah, not very good for you paranormal horror fans. And last but not least, another very devastating news. The Last of Us Season 2 has paused pre-production. That's including auditions as well. So we're not even getting the ball rolling on even casting any of the new characters that pop up in Part 2 of The Last of Us. And that's all because of the Writers Guild strike that's happening, according to Variety. So another show biting the dust or suffering from this strike. And those that were a major fan of the first season of The Last of Us is going to have to wait even longer for Season 2. Even though they did say it should have been out by the end of 2024, early 2025. So I'm just saying. I know they couldn't predict this, but
Another show that they're fucking with that I really liked. Oh my goodness, man. Hollywood is a messy place. And as much as I want to be in it, this doesn't paint a good picture for me. I'm disappointed. That's it. That's all I can really say, because I can let out my frustration. I can't really blame anyone, because I understand. If I wanted to blame someone, it'd be the executives that don't want to pay their people. But I really don't want to do all that. I just want my shows to get back to being made and fulfilling me as a fan. To hear that the movies and shows that I like are being halted fucking sucks.
Yeah, and this the article also says that the scripts are not even completed yet, that they were holding auditions with actors repeating lines from the game, and yeah, all that just was stop production. Stranger Things season 5 has stopped production. Severance as well. I believe Drew Barrymore's show has completely stopped as well. House of the Dragon season 2 will be held up as well. So we're getting a lot of stops across it's a lot of stops across the board, and it's crazy. It's crazy because I'm telling y'all, and I knew this shit was gonna happen because optimism's great, but I was hearing a lot of different YouTubers and different people that are in the business were talking about this, and they were like, "Oh yeah, executives have a lot under their belt. They're gonna be fine." This is what they had under their belt, and I'm assuming they were thinking scripts were at least done because obviously things were greenlit. But I'm like, nah, they probably have some stuff that they're gonna put out till maybe the end of this year. They have enough, so I guess till the end of this year they're padded. But by next year, I think by March of next year, if they don't find something to agree on by, I want to say by August or September. If they don't agree by something by August or September, we're going to hit a really hard spot 2024, March 2024 or so.
It's going to be, which is crazy because it's happening now. And if it doesn't move on, everything will affect the years of 2025 and 2026. It's going to be a weird year for cinema and movies altogether. And, it'll really, if things end up worst comes to worst, and people are going to start having to decide whether they want to be fed, they want to be paid and fed and stuff, I really hope the guild holds it together, because we've seen in the past what they can do when they do hold out. If they decide somewhere along the way that this has gone long enough, and they're just they decide to put it aside to go back to work, that'll just make things worse on them, because the executives will be like, well, damn, they couldn't even stick out to be paid well. Let's stomp on them some more, And then if the executives break, we'll get our shows and stuff back. and the writers will be respected. But before that, if nothing shows up, the executives and the people involved, well, obviously not the writers, will have to start making the stand about moving forward with AI and without the writers altogether, which is going to be another scary thing for Hollywood to want to move forward with.
Yeah.
And it scares me because we got a lot of talented writers and stuff out there producing the shows and movies we love and games. You guys have no idea how many like actors are like in games, how many writers it takes for games and stuff, you know. So we don't even know how that's affecting that industry yet.
Yeah, that's true too. Because Hollywood is the only one being like lit up right now.
Exactly. So we don't know till it starts affecting that. Well, it'll be a problem, but we need our writers to come back immediately. I hope the executives pull that together pretty soon before it starts fucking with their jobs too. Because again, they already have a lot on their plate overseeing production and shit. To direct and have to write is going to put more on their plate. And then eventually they'll start demanding more money. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And I don't know who pays them. But at that point, it'll be the pot and kettle situation.
Yeah, it's gonna be a bumpy road. Right now, like I said, we're not feeling anything. We're not gonna feel it right now. We probably got till the end of the year, maybe the beginning of next year. But for a fact, shows and stuff, they're gonna take a beating eventually. So hopefully they figure out something. Well, I'm hoping for peace across the board, and I'm hoping that, you know, hopefully it doesn't escalate, because like I said, Directors Guild might be next. We got all kinds of guilds out there that can put a stop to everything, because hey, if AI takes one job, AI can take the next one and the next one and the next one. You know, they're already making AI art, so, you know, writers is one thing, but what if, like, you know, artists can't even, you know, do concept art for you guys anymore? You know what I mean? Yeah. They just throw it in the AI, and the next, you know, why do we need a director in the director's seat when we can get AI who tells us what camera angles would be best?
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So, scary thing, AI. Scary thing. I think right now is the perfect time to put a stop to it. Hopefully get some kind of regulation towards it. What you can and cannot use it for in this life. And, you know, go from there. Because unregulated AI, Skynet. Oh, God, we're going to die. We are going to die. Everybody going to die. It's going to be bad.
There's a lot of movies like this that those writers wrote to give you a real good concept about what AI can do. Will it ever get that far? Probably not. But I wouldn't want to be the one to find out.
Never say never.
Yeah. Just pay your people so we can get our stuff back.
Yeah.
Otherwise, you'll have fans on your doorstep as well.
This could be the first, like, milestone to stop Judgment Day. I'm just saying that right now. I'm thinking about it right now, and this could be the first stop. If what do you call it? If we don't give these writers the pay and regulate AI, Judgment Day is gonna happen. We're gonna be on the path of that.
That's fine.
Come on, guys, help us deter that. We need to stop it. But with that being said, this is going to be the last topic of this episode. If there's, like I always tell you guys, come on now. Like I always tell you guys, if there's anything that we didn't talk about, that we should have talked about, that we just probably didn't get around to, maybe we didn't say what you were thinking. Hey, if there's a question or anything you want to throw at us, a movie you guys want us to review, Josh, let them know where they can let us know.
Twitter, TikTok, Instagram at FilmBros Podcast. We post when new episodes are up, and very engaging things for y'all to hit us up on. We post when new episodes are up. I said that already, right? You can listen to us on the go. Spotify and Apple Podcast at FilmBros Podcast. If you want to support us, links in our bio to Buzzsprout. If you end up subscribing, we'll post bonus content there only for y'all, the exclusives and whatnot. And we'll shout you out on future pods. If you want to subscribe to our YouTube, go ahead and do that at FilmBros Podcast.
Hey, and it's not a future YouTube. It's out there right now. Go subscribe, like, hit the notification bell. I believe we're going to start putting up our podcasts up there as well. Not video versions, but just, you know, in case for those that like YouTube Music and stuff, they're starting to have a little podcast section. So we'll be putting our podcast up there as well. So stay tuned for that. Like, subscribe, hit that notification bell, and we'll talk to you guys on the next one.
Talk to you guys later.